You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. Bottom line, Michael, is this here. That is, Manchin has spoken, but the reality is this here. I say you got to light his ass up at every single turn. You got every time he speaks somewhere, he needs to be met with protesters. Every single one of his offices in West Virginia. He needs to have folks going to his office in Congress every single day. Every time he turns around, it should be a voting sign in his face. Every single time he gives a speech, it should be folks chanting in the back, Jim Crow 2.0. The reality is this here. What Senator Joe Manchin is doing the bidding of the Republican Party. And then when you have folks like Meghan McCain who are on The View talking about, oh, how this is all about the squad, I had to tweet her clueless self saying, no, Meghan, this is not about the squad. You have independent Senator Angus King in the Senate who says, I don't want to end the filibuster, but what they are doing on voting is dead wrong, and I will vote to end it. See, the squad has now become the new George Soros for the right. They love everything about the squad. No, this is literally about the voting rights of black and brown people and a party that is advancing white supremacy and white nationalism. That is today's Republican Party.
First of all, I don't know what you're doing with that funny-looking shirt on, but you want to
don't get embarrassed today.
I'm just saying.
Don't get embarrassed today. Remember, Alf is your daddy.
Oh Lord.
And remember, y'all was so weak, you took one of our colors as your own. You better go ahead and answer that question.
First of all, I don't think Schumer would ever do it. But when you have someone who is so far, beyond being the black sheep, who is so far off the reservation on a variety of issues, because he's
I'm there. My screen is frozen.
Yeah, but you're making some point about bipartisanship and let's bring the country together and all this kind of stuff. What these states are doing are further splitting the country up. And I don't think Schumer would ever do it. I don't even think he would threaten it. But sometimes, you got to do some tough things. And in politics, sometimes it's hard to make these tough decisions and take him off some committees, put him on different committees that aren't as relevant that he really cares about. You got to start, whether that's the case, whether you have to do old school politics and offer him the Joe Manchin Airport in Morgantown or a brand new highway with his name on it, whatever it is, whether it's old school politics or starting to strip him of some of his favorite committees, you got to do something that threatens him to bring him back into the fold. Because what he's doing is irrational on a variety of issues. Yes, of course, voting rights, as you and the congressman were just talking about. Clearly, from my standpoint, D.C. statehood. He was also acting like a fool with that. Obviously, the infrastructure bill. He thinks that Republicans are going to wake up one day and say, you know what, kumbaya, let's come together and bring our country back together. That's not going to happen, at least no time soon. So if you're in a particular landscape, you have to treat the landscape accordingly. And that means putting the hammer down on Joe Manchin for acting like a fool.
The thing here, Julian, is that, again, look, it's sitting before us right now. It's sitting before us. The Republican Party, they ain't playing bipartisanship on the state level. They are ramming through these bills, no Democrat involvement whatsoever. And I'm like, Manchin, what the hell world are you looking at? They are trying to solidify. This is how significant this is. Democrats only hold a 4-seat majority in the U.S. House. Republicans in Florida alone could gerrymander Democrats out of the majority. In Texas, they could grab 3 to 4 more seats. That means that forget whatever voters do, white voters, black voters, Latino voters, the Republicans could guarantee they pick up 8 Democrat seats, meaning they control the House. And Manchin's talking about, I don't want to split the country. We got to get along. Republicans are like, we don't give a damn about splitting the country. We're going to follow Trump to hell and back, and we do not care because we are about power.
You know, Roland, what's his name? We don't call his name. The previous president used to call people rhinos, Republicans in name only. Manchin is a dino. He's a Democrat in name only. Some of the things that are fundamental to the Democratic Party are things that he refuses to support. I mean, he refuses to support infrastructure when people have been crying for it. And when West Virginia is crumbling, let me say that again. They got a bridge that's about to die. They have roads and highways that, you know, potholes the size of ponies. And they really do not want, he does not want to see this stuff fixed. He is, to call him a throwback will be thrown back to what? Jim Crow 2.0, absolutely. But this man is an egotistical idiot because he's basically holding progress in his own little hand, saying, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to. And what he has done, certainly with the voting rights, which is already, we understand that it has never been majority rule in this country. It has never been one person, one vote in this country. Because if there was, how does itty bitty Rhode Island have the same amount of power as big old California?
Well, hell, first of all, I love that they're complaining about D.C. statehood, but they forgot why the Dakotas were split up to guarantee they got 4 U.S. senators when the Dakotas should be one state because they barely got any population in those 2 damn states.
No, they got population 24 buffaloes. That's what they have. They don't have people. So, you know, Manchin is just such an irritation and a vexation, but he is enjoying every minute of this. I mean, he's truly enjoying every minute. It feeds his ego. It feeds his sense of self-importance, and it does not serve the people.
The bottom line here, Omakongo, that we have to understand, and again, this is not me being emotional. This is me being factual. The Republicans are running roughshod over democracy all across America. They are passing bills that are designed to keep people from voting. When you start reducing drop boxes by 75, 80%, claiming, oh, security, but they're already secure. When you pass laws that say, I literally cannot deliver my parents' absentee ballot, they have to do it personally. Yeah, game recognized game. We see what's going on here. And he's sitting here as, oh my God, this is just too much. This is just too hyper-partisan. Well, what are you saying is happening over there? And here's the other deal. In 2013, I got the NABJ, the National Association of Black Journalists of the Year Award for my coverage for voter suppression. I'm sorry, I don't recall one time in the last 8 years where Joe Manchin was a leading voice on extending the Voting Rights Act. So all of a sudden, Joe, you got religion on the VRA? Why in the hell weren't you holding news conferences when Mitch McConnell was majority leader? Why weren't you calling for it then? Oh, because you didn't give a damn then.
Most definitely. And here, this Dr. Malvo is so correct. This diva power trip is just ridiculous. I mean, quite honestly, look, as you said, 50 plus 7 does not equal 60. And one of the things that the representative said that I think we need to start paying more attention to is we need to start seeing where the money's coming from with Manchin, because part of HR1 is about getting that money out of this. We got to shine a light on some of his donors to really understand, because some of his donors and corporations that are probably supporting him are probably in favor of this, probably companies that didn't speak out when it came to places like Georgia and what they're doing in places like Texas as well. And so I think that there's a money trail that we need to follow. But furthermore, when we talk about the filibuster, fine, he can make his arguments about why the filibuster shouldn't end. But when it comes down to voting, it's got to go. When it comes down to that one issue of voting, the filibuster has to go. And look, at the end of the day, we're not even talking about the old school filibuster where you actually had to be present and make your extra long speeches. People can just phone it in from their hot tub or from their hotel or from Cancun or somewhere right now. And so there's laziness, all in an attempt to get power. And Manchin I think Manchin does understand that basically when it comes down to it, the Republicans are not going to give in. And so since we see how people are actually struggling in West Virginia, you talked about education, 48th, Dr. Malvo talked about some of the other issues with the infrastructure. he has to be beholden to the people who are his corporate interests because he doesn't care about the people. He cares about being a diva. He cares about the spotlight. And that's why, like you said, we have to make sure that we get as many senators in as possible come this next election cycle because he has to be made irrelevant.
Look, it is what it is. We see what's going on here, and the folks at Black Voters Matter, they're going to be launching a massive voter campaign extending from Mississippi coming to D.C. beginning on Juneteenth. They got to stop in Charleston on June 24th. I hope there's a massive turnout for that. Folks, back to our Roland Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment.
Racial injustice is a scourge on this nation, and the Black community has felt it for generations. We have an obligation to do something about it. Whether it's canceling student debt, increasing the minimum wage, or investing in Black-owned businesses, the Black community deserves so much better. I'm Nina Turner, and I'm running for Congress to do something about it.